Hey everybody, I'm Taibu.
And I'm Cameron.
Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Back in January, we were faced with one of the hardest decisions that we've ever had to make. And it caused us to post a post that we never thought we would post. And one of the hardest posts we've ever had to post in our lives. And so we just really wanted to create this video and the videos that we are going to make to just tell you guys our journey, what we went through,
stuff that occurred throughout it, and just being put to the test. That's all.
Yeah, and then so we wanted to make sure that we give you guys updates as well, because we like posted and then everybody was just so like encouraging and supportive and helpful, and we just felt like we owed it to you guys.
Definitely.
To give you guys like what's going on now, updates, what happened in our journey. But I just couldn't get we couldn't get ourselves to make a video.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about like CJ's journey. We're gonna talk about all his surgeries. We're gonna talk about us having to give him CPR. We're gonna talk about thinking we were gonna go to Boston, welcoming home CJ, and if CJ is bottle feeding. So that's what we're gonna be talking about this video. So let's just go ahead and get started. This video might be emotional because, you know, we are very happy that we went through what we went through.
Yeah.
And we're very grateful for the experience, and we're grateful more than anything that CJ is 100% healthy and okay. So it might be a little bit emotional just because it's hard to talk about, but we're hoping that it's not so emotional.
Yeah.
We just want to kind of say what we went through in hopes that it helps somebody out. Okay, so CJ was born June 14th, and we found out that he was born with esophageal atresia. So he had his very first surgery 2 days after he was born. And it was like an outer body experience. It was like, okay, whoa. So my son has a condition. And then he has to get like rushed to the NICU, and then he has to get his very first surgery 2 days after we had him. It was just like, whoa, okay. So he got his very first surgery. It went very successfully. The very first surgery was putting a gastrostomy tube in his stomach. It's a G-tube for short. Putting that G-tube in his stomach, because his esophagus wasn't connected to his stomach, he couldn't swallow anything. So the only way that he was going to get any type of nutrition was through his stomach. Exactly, was through the tube. So when babies have esophageal atresia, their stomachs could be a size of a pea when they're first born. So that surgery is a very tough, very difficult, very nerve-wracking. Well, first of all, any surgery is nerve-wracking, but it was just a very like high-risk surgery. Because did he even have a stomach? How big was his stomach? Like they were supposed to be putting something into his stomach, and then it turns into a balloon, and it kind of expands, and milk drops into there and then drops into his stomach. So you have to find first if he even has a stomach, how big his stomach is, and that's already a risk. And then hopes that it actually works and the surgery wasn't for nothing. So that was his very first surgery, and we had to wait in the waiting room every time. Not that of course you can't wait in the room, but whew, that was hard to just be like, okay, you're gonna do this on our son, and we're gonna have to trust you. And we're gonna have to be like, okay, call me when everything is done. Nobody can give you updates throughout the throughout the surgery. So it's just like, it was just a lot. So that was his very first surgery, but thankfully it went successfully.
Yep.
And so we were super, super excited about that, but we had a long way to go.
that was just the beginning.
Whew, that was just the beginning. They told us, like, expect for him to be in the hospital for at least 3 months. We were like, ah!
And 3 months seemed like
forever. First of all, my daughter had jaundice. And I was like on my hands and knees praying to God that she was okay. She had to get her blood drawn every 2 hours for 24 hours. And I had just had her. And so that was very nerve-wracking, but nothing like this.
At all.
Nothing like this. And she was in the hospital for 4 or 5 days. So for him to be in the hospital for 3 months...
That's some trips home by yourself and...
What? First of all, you're leaving the hospital without your baby, and then you're going to have to visit him for 3 months every single day because you're not gonna want to be without him, and you want to know everything that's going on. You're calling when you're not there. Yeah. If I'm not calling, he's calling. Sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, I just spoke to Dad." I'm like, "Oh man, he didn't even get the opportunity to tell me he already called." It was like crazy. And so, okay, that was his first surgery. Okay, and so we had to wait after that surgery. Basically, what the surgery was intended to do was expand his stomach, in hopes that his stomach expands enough to connect his esophagus to his stomach. Okay, so they were just like automatically three months. Okay, automatically 3 months. So he had to be what was it? 2 kilograms.
Yep.
So that was about equivalent to 4 pounds. To get this first surgery. Surgery. Exactly, to get the first surgery. So obviously our journey in the NICU was tough every single day going, and then so we finally got to the day that he was able to get his surgery. This was August 29th.
Yep.
Everything happens on Monday. Every Monday something new.
Something was going on.
Every Monday. His surgeries were only on Monday. Monday. Never forget it. So August 29th was his second surgery, but his very first exactly. They're trying to connect the esophagus at this point. So now it's like, oh my God, once you guys connect the esophagus, all it has to do is heal and he'll come home.
Yep.
So it was like a surgery that was weird. It was like we were looking forward to it.
But it was still
nervous
because the outcome of
what could happen.
So we were just looking at it as if okay, we got to see him, let him go. He's still young and still, going through a lot. But, we're going to trust him, let the surgeon do what his job requires him to do.
Exactly. And we're so happy that, okay, this is it. This is it. This is the end of our NICU journey.
He'll be home.
He is exactly.
And we'll be normal.
Back to normal. So we're just like, okay. So the day came and we're just like, it's bitter. It's a bittersweet situation. And so, it's the day comes that he gets his very first surgery. And we're just like, okay. And so he gets the surgery. And the surgery is successful. And we're like, oh my God, he did such a good job. Yep. There wasn't a lot of scarring. He does so good every time. My baby is so strong. He did so good that surgery.
And you start feeling the sense of, the light at the end of the tunnel, because, you know the process of what it is, and you're like, this is the last step. Okay, well... Yeah. Let's start, getting stuff together in the house. Let's start trying to set up, a welcome home
party.
Since we didn't have,
a baby shower.
Yeah, so it was
like finishing all your
it was just, a great feeling, just be able to say, okay, he's coming home. So
yeah, for sure. And so so he had his first surgery. He did such a good job, and we're just like, okay, cool. So all he has to do is heal. So what happened was they gave him a week to heal, went down, did the esophagostomy or the esophagram, where they put some type of contrast in his esophagus, look at it on a live x-ray, and they see, the flow of,
if it goes
if it goes straight down. Because if it goes out the side or goes out this side or multiple angles, the surgery wasn't that it wasn't successful. Well, some may look at it as unsuccessful because if it doesn't or needs more time to heal. Exactly, because needs more time to heal. So everything went great with that. They were like, everything went perfect. We were like, oh my goodness, this is the best. And so walking in the NICU, feeling like, okay, we gotta be out here, you know. And all nurses like, I heard the news. I'm just like, yes, like we can't wait to get up out of here because, first of all, yeah, it was very, very difficult. So.
Yeah.
So, first surgery was successful. Now the next step, though, there's steps within that, though, because this next step is he has to do a swallow study.
Yep.
So if he doesn't pass the swallow study, they're not going to trust that he's able to feed by the time he gets home. They have to see if everything works and see if he still has that ability to suck. Babies can lose that ability to suck by 3 months. He's already 3 months getting this surgery, about to be 4 months, as a matter of fact. So they say babies can lose their sucking ability 2 to 3 months. So, but he loved his passy. So we were just like, we're not gonna have to worry about that. He loved his passy. So we're just like, oh no, we're not gonna have any issues. And so what happened was, babe, you wanna go get CJ? Yeah. Okay. And so what happened was we had to do a swallow study. And then so the swallow study, he didn't pass the swallow study. And we're just like, okay. So they said that he aspirated. So aspirating is basically choking. Like, I don't know why they don't just say choking, but I understand it. The medical term is aspirating, okay? He aspirated, which means he did not swallow the liquid properly. Trachea flapped in it. It's a lot. So basically he didn't swallow the contrast properly, and what happened was it went into his lungs. So that aspiration is actually very serious, because aspiration can cause like pneumonia is number one that it can cause, and that's already scary. People already know like pneumonia is very, very serious. So they were just like, after one suck, they were just like, no, stop, like he can't take it. And so you know, you hear that news and then you're just like, okay. And then like you start getting to think like, okay, is it like actual like surgical, is it like a surgical reason as to why he can't do this? Or is it like because the contrast is nasty? Like, I mean, if something is nasty and it goes down your throat, you're gonna be like, ugh, what the heck? Like, you're not gonna want to drink it. So it's like you start thinking from a mom perspective, you start thinking from a surgical perspective. It's just like, okay, what could it be? So then they're just like, okay, we're gonna wait. Every time they just want to wait an additional week to do it again. So by that time, they waited an additional week, and then he didn't pass the swallow study again. And so we're just like, dang, okay. So then they wanted to wait an additional 2 weeks. So this brings us down to like the end of September. And then so after that, it brings us down to the end of September, or like the middle of September. And they're just like, we're going to teach you guys how to just use this continuous feeding. Because this whole time he's on continuous feed. So he's been getting nutrition through his G-tube though. So continuous feed is he was on, he was having milk pumped through his stomach for 24 hours a day. All day, every day. But it was only about like 1 ounce every hour. It's hard to explain because like 37 mLs, but it's like equivalent to like a little bit over 1 ounce an hour. And so they started teaching us how to is he alright?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. They started teaching us how to use the Joey pump, and we're just okay. And we were getting updates from the doctor if we weren't there. And so she called us, before they started teaching us, she called us and she was just like, hey, so if he can't pass the swallow study, like we're not going to be able to bottle feed him before he goes home. So he's going to have to go on he is most likely going to have to go home on a continuous feed. And we was like, continuous feed? Like, what?
How are we supposed to
move around?
You know.
There is a pole. There is a bag. We'll show you next video. We'll show you everything next video. We have everything. There was a bag, a pole, a kangaroo pump, and like more bags, formula. And so we're just like, okay. So she's just like, no, like you can definitely travel with him. Families do it all the time. Of course, we're just like, wait, how?
Yeah.
She's just like, you can carry this backpack. Like, just put the backpack in the car seat, put a backpack in the car, put the backpack, whatever. You hang the bag in the backpack. You guys are going to be fine. And so we're just like, okay. So he was coming from work, and then he was coming there. We didn't schedule the surgeries until about 4 o'clock.
Right.
And so, I mean, not the surgeries. Oh my goodness. Oh. The
teaching.
Exactly. We had to learn. Well, we didn't have to learn CPR, but. Or maybe we did, but I don't remember because we were like, excuse me, we need to watch CPR video. So maybe we did, but they just probably didn't tell us that we had to because we were already on it. Like, we were just like, we need to watch CPR videos. Like, we need to, and we watched them like 2 to 3 times, like maybe 4 or 5, because we were just like, we need to watch this again and again and again. Like, you never know if we need this.
Yeah.
Huh. So, we started learning how to do the continuous feeding. I think you were first, right?
No, you were, because you remember I would come up there and you'd be like, babe, this is how you do it.
Okay. So I was the first one to learn to use the Joey pump and everything like that. So, I mean, the kangaroo pump. It's Joey, kangaroo, either way. So I started to learn how to use the kangaroo pump first, and just learning how to connect it to him, learning how to clean it, learning how to run the milk through it, learning how to carry it, and like set it to the correct settings. And yeah, so then he came, and he would learn how to do the same thing. And then we had to do that. There was a checklist that we had to pass before we came home. And we were just starting to mark stuff off the list. So every nurse that would come in there, they would just like, hey, did you learn this? Did you learn that? Did you learn this? Did you learn that? And so we just checked stuff off the list as we went, and we just learned everything that we needed to know about like him doing continuous feed. And honestly, I was researching, I was watching videos. I was just like, okay, I need to, if we gonna do this, like, we gonna do it. Like, we're not gonna play about it, because first of all, it's serious.
Yeah.
So obviously this is not something that we can just like, oh, we're not gonna listen to it. It's just like, oh, hell no. Okay, listen. this is it. So this is what we're gonna have to do. So then after that, he came home. What was that, September 27th, or was it 29th? It was like a Friday before the Monday that I had to go back to work. So I think it was the 29th, because there's 31 days in September.
27.
No, 27. No, there's 30 days in September.
Yeah, because it's 31 in August.
Exactly. Okay, right. So, yes. Okay, so it was like September 27th where we came home, and it was like the happiest day of our lives. We are so happy, but we're nervous because he's on continuous feeding, but we're so happy.
Yep.
Like, oh my goodness. It was just like, we're like walking out of the NICU. Nurses are taking pictures with us. They're just like, oh my God, good luck. Like, You
Life
guys,
was what it
you
should
guys have
be.
been, exactly.
Life was what it should be.
I know.
That ride home, we started, just
thinking about oh my
everything
God,
we could do now.
let's go. Like, we got our baby home, and this is all we needed to complete us.
Yep.
We are good. Like, so he came home like September 22nd or September 27th, or it was the 29th, one of the two. It's like a Friday before that Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so we had him home, and the first night was great. Every night was great. And then it hit 1 week.
Yep.
And that's where everything changed.